Hey, and Cisco, and we're back, and we are ready to drop some more heat for you guys, some more knowledge about the Nipsey Hussle assassination, and just get familiar with a couple of theories, a couple of things that's been floating around, a couple of people popping out the woodworks. And speaking of people popping out the woodworks, um, who is Najee Ali? Are you familiar with him, Cisco?
Yes, I am familiar with him, not on a personal level, but I definitely am familiar with him.
Oh, okay, okay. Who is he?
So, well, he's known by some as a civil rights activist.
Oh,
Um, he was excuse me, Al Sharpton's basically spokesperson in the West Coast in his organization at one time. But on the streets, he was known as a an informant, and
mm,
that's well known by very credible individuals on the grounds in Los Angeles. That's not a rumor. That's well known that this man is um, has worked as an informant, and not to mention um, everything that he says needs to be weighed, just like everyone, just even like my what I'm gonna say, but more so on his behalf because this is another person in the Nipsey Hussle murder case who is a convicted perjurer. So I'm not going to go into the details of his case, but this man, is a man who uh, is a convicted perjurer. Um, some of the things I have a problem with uh, that he's talked about was one is that Nipsey was not the focus of an investigation, and I disagree with that because I see it as impossible for a property, a business entity to be investigated for being a hub for criminal activity without investigating the owner. And this is what Najee Ali is pushing along with the witness one's prosecution, which I don't necessarily uh, disagree with. However, understanding the magnitude of this murder slash assassination, um, I would question a convicted perjurer and a known informant's motives for pushing this her prosecution for what is it just based on justice for Nipsey? I don't know, especially when you say that he wasn't the focus of of an investigation when he's the owner of the property. And if we put events, which I think I won't do with detail now, but hopefully me and LA will do this in the future. But if you look at the timeline of events, we can easily say that Nipsey was definitely on the radar and definitely the focus. He was focused upon him and his brother.
correct.
And like I say, in the future we can break that down in detail.
Yeah, definitely, because that does need to be spoke on for sure. So Najee Ali hosted or he tried to hold a press conference at Louisiana Fried Chicken that was across the street from Nipsey Hussle's store. and that was supposed to be on Nipsey's birthday.
Right.
And then something happened. While he was there, somebody ran up on him and pretty much told him, you got to go.
Yeah, like I said, people I'll put it like this. When people think of LA, they think of Crips and Bloods, they think of the gang culture. In the area along that Crenshaw area is there's still the roots of black consciousness. And I hate to say that, use that terminology, but I think your audience will know what I mean by that. Because you still have the remnant of the Black Panthers, which is the predecessors to the Crips and the Bloods. So there's a stream of black consciousness. Now, within that black consciousness in the Crenshaw area, Najee Ali is known as a snitch. So that's in the grounds. That's in the people. People know that. That's not something. That's something that's been known for years.
Well, great day. So the people ran up on him. They said, "Get yourself up out of here." And then we were having a lot of talks about the whole, I guess, the David Gross situation is also connected into this. However, this is pertaining to Nipsey Hussle Tower. And
Hmm.
Black pretty much speaks out, and he releases a statement, very well written statement from the Cochran firm of California. And they released this statement basically saying that the Nipsey Hussle Tower is going to be built regardless. And they agreed to this, and that Nipsey partnered with David Gross, however he says his last name. And that's it. This is on ink. Okay.
Right. Is that the same document I saw?
Yes.
See, the problem with this is, okay, it's a digital document. Um,
Okay.
David Gross's last name isn't capitalized, and there's no signature on the document. Now, does that mean that it's not real? It doesn't, but we gotta be somewhat skeptical. However, I will say this: I, based on my investigation of Nipsey Hussle's case, I tend to believe what's in the letter. The question is, who put out the letter, and is it real?
Exactly. Exactly.
I kind of tend to believe that that's gonna happen. The Nipsey Tower is gonna happen, and they expedited it. But the thing that I have an issue with is the fence around the property. The incidences before the property was fenced off. Um, it seems to be a heavy police presence for whatever reason. It's kind of like a red zone, before that fence was put up. It's like, after a while, you couldn't even really go there and even take
Mm-hmm.
pictures. You see what I mean? And that just, to me, alludes to the fact that Najee Ali's statement is incorrect.
Okay. And you don't really buy into the fact that he may have heard this information about the witness number one being pregnant.
Well, the thing about it is, I'm not gonna deny that. Um,
Mm,
I just question the motive.
okay.
I just question the motive, and for what, is it really about justice for Nipsey? The little slick thing he did on, I don't want to say that person's channel, uh, but the little slick thing is that I'm a, he says, see, that's that double talk that these kind of people, the Sharptons, the Najee Alis, the messy Jesse Jackson types, they have
Mhm.
this tongue that you got to watch. If you don't watch it carefully, they'll slip one on you. And he says, as a black man, I didn't want to get nobody in trouble. And then he goes and says her name.
Okay, that
Then
makes
the
sense.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, first of all, you saying as a black man, you don't want to put nobody in harm's way, but then you come back and say her name. So
True.
do you want her to be prosecuted, or do you want her to get knocked off in the streets?
That's why I was like, my head doubled back when he said that, and I was like, what?
And if
But
you want her knocked off in the streets, so why are you pushing for her prosecution?
I was
See this,
totally fine with just
see,
knowing witness one.
and
I
that's
honestly,
why. Go ahead.
I was honestly fine with calling her witness one, and I will continue to call her witness one because
Yeah, I mean, whatever her role is in this situation,
I mean,
basically, we've already covered that all we have is grainy video and witness testimony as evidence. You know, that's basically what they have, according to the
mm-hmm.
grand jury. You know, so whatever her role is in this, um, I don't, I don't think whether her name is out or not, the platform as you as a civil rights activist and this upstanding person in the community, and you tried to stand on that, but in the next very statement you said her name.
That's true. So that was a different situation as well because that popped up in the mix, and also, along with that popping up in the mix, we had a couple of articles. Najee Ali claims to have witness who will testify against alleged Nipsey Hussle killer's driver. So he's actually stating that he has somebody that will testify against this girl. So, that was very interesting.
That is interesting. That is interesting because um assuming how high profile the case is, you would assume phone records would be examined. Maybe the police might have been able to find this person and not Najee Ali. Why is Najee Ali bringing this person out?
Hmm. I guess that's why their LAPD is being investigated, being that they turned witness one
Okay,
away.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
So we have another article that popped out of nowhere, and it pretty much stated, restating that Black Sam was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder in September of 2018. Now, that situation comes into play when we're talking about the Nipsey Hussle Tower, the heat from LAPD, and this was published in the LA Times on August 13th.
Okay.
And so it's just approaching the time frame of when they're trying to speed up and make the Nipsey Hussle Tower. Now, from what I'm understanding, this process was supposed to take quite some time, 12 months, I do believe. Do not quote me, but apparently it has been sped up, of course, because of his untimely demise. But it's being sped up in hopes of getting it built. And that's why we see the chain link fence and, the complete shutdown of the area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So That's pretty much all I know about the Nipsey Hussle Tower that's factual. And then we have another thing on my list that I really don't want to talk about, but I feel as though I guess we can because it's been brought up a dozen times, and some people just gave up on it on their channel completely. Um, and I will do it in the most logical way possible. The barbershop.
Okay.
People are trying to say that Nipsey was murdered in the barbershop, and um people were moved, and people are staged and things of that nature. And I totally just do not want to talk about it really, but it just doesn't make sense. So I'm not going to talk about it too long. But like Sisco was saying earlier, it has to have to make sense. And you said that we need some cameras on that. I mean, there are clearly cameras around there that would have saw people staging people out and dragging people out and things of that nature. As far as the inside of the businesses and things of that nature, I don't know about that. We don't know about that. We don't know if the cameras really worked or not.
No.
So,
But I just think the barbershop thing, we just need more, you know, to go in that direction, you need more than speculation. You need, you know, some kind of physical evidence that points to that direction, you know. And
now
without it, it's hard to really say.
that is interesting.
It's
That
like we have two murders where people totally forgot that you can bleed internally, and that was um, Triple X Extension and Nipsey Hussle. Those are two crime scenes that didn't have that much blood, and because of that,
mhm,
people went all over the place. But it is possible to
to
be
believe.
shot. Be shot. The thing that's difficult is how many times Nipsey was shot. But even still, um, you have to speculate to make those far out conclusions.
Sure. And I mean, from what I see, from the tapes that we see and the things that people have done to these tapes and brought them to a good resolution, no matter how edited, we all can see it looks, and we know we see things in the backgrounds and things of that nature. Um, it's still it's still real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's a
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, absolutely. It's still real, absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't want to try to make it into a parade, but I just wanted to talk about it since, I've heard about it quite a lot. Like that's the only news that's popping up on Nipsey, and it's been a while. So Eric Ronald Holder Jr., let me correct myself, aka shittycuz, is has a bail of $6.5 million. And his next court date is on August 29th. Um, what do you think is going to happen in this next court date, or do you have any knowledge as to what may happen?
Well, let's assume that the DA's office has fulfilled the motions that if assuming that the DA's, I mean the judge grants the motions that the defense has requested, I wouldn't be shocked if the unless there's just a whole lot we don't know, but I wouldn't be shocked if the defense attorney um asked for dismissal to throw the
Huh.
case out.
Yeah, right.
Hey, did you see what you remember? You remember what they requested?
Yes.
Uh, um, the defense attorney Young requested investigative reports and the results of any criminal investigations prior to Nipsey Hussle's death, any information related to possible gang activity by Hussle, witnesses, and Holder, and Hussle's full unredacted criminal history, including police and arrest reports for any criminal offense and suspected criminal conduct, including traffic citations.
Hmm.
Um, if you know, I don't want to speculate too far, but given what we know from the grand jury and the basic facts of the case, um, a lot of information is gonna, if he's granted that information, it looks like he's trying to um show that this is bigger than Eric Holder.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it
So,
looks in any investigative reports and the results of any criminal investigation prior to Hustle's death, any information related to possible gang activity by Hustle, witnesses, and Holder. So they want the information that the DA possesses
mm-hmm.
regarding any investigation prior to Hustle's death, any information about gang activity by Hustle, the witnesses, and Holder,
Hmm.
and Hustle's full unredacted criminal history.
Hmm.
That to me looks like he wants to be saying that, hey, this is bigger than me. And
Hmm.
this right here proves it.
Okay. Well, it's August 29th. You know what today is, so be prepared. You know, these news stations are going to be putting out all types of information. I'm going to be all over it. Um, I know you will too, Cisco. That is
Yes.
also the same date, um, ironically, as the family still, you know, trying to get Imani, the baby girl of Nipsey Hussle, um, too. And, you know, I pray for that situation as well and the family. And shout out to them. I hope everything is good on their end. And, you know, I really, really do feel some type of way about this situation. But thank you guys for everything. And we do appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. And, you know, Cisco, do you have anything to say?
No, just thank you guys for hanging on in there with us, and we'll be back with more.
Yep, yep, yep.